Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Let's Design Planet Coaster. This episode is going to be a little bit different. I did already play what I'm going to show you, and I recorded everything into some sort of time-lapse, but instead of using music this time, I'm actually going to switch to voiceover. So hopefully you guys enjoy this new format. I'm going to try it out, see if something cool comes out of it. And let's start the simulation real quick, and let me just tell you exactly what I was trying to do. So we're going to be focusing in this episode on getting the victory ride to be detailed, to add all the little props that will be surrounding this ride. And I'm starting here by adding the different extending this water-like path and putting down a galley at the bottom of it, just so that it kind of resembles a river flowing. And I'm having a hard time, as usual, putting down the different paths, but eventually I managed to get it in a position where the ship is kind of sitting in the middle and surrounded by really wide paths. In that way, kind of looks like real water. And I'm using some of the bushes on the sides just to cover, kind of the imperfections around everything in the back. And since it's not going to be seen, you're going to see eventually how I'm going to start putting the different types of trees and props to make everything fit nicely. And one thing that I wanted to do to give it even more of a sensation of actual water is to have a little shoreline with rocks, pretty much what I'm doing right now, and just try to mix it up in a way so that we have different sizes and different shapes and different orientations. I think that was sort of the key to make it look a little bit realistic. And every once in a while, throw a little, like a sunken plant tree. When I mean sunken, I mean like lowering it down to some point in the grass. That's so the trunk of it is kind of like, sunk into the ground. That's sort of what I was saying. Over here, we have like a tiny little island. I don't know if I love how it turned out. It's okay. I mean, it would have been nicer if it was slightly bigger, so maybe we could fit 1 or 2 palm trees. But I'm not opposed on leaving it like that. And I'm also, you would notice that I added some bushes back in the front of the alley on the water. I kind of thought of those as being, kind of lily pads or something like that, some sort of like floating vegetation. And I think they turned out pretty good, so I left them there. Now, another thing that I wanted to do is, since we had the ride sort of raised up in elevation a little bit, I wanted to surround it with rocks, kind of like give it a sensation that it's just sitting on a bed of rocks. But you'll see the decorations of that in a minute. What I'm doing here is I'm going to start. I'm starting to create the structure for the building that's going to be around the ride. In this case, in contrast with what we did the last 2 episodes, I wanted to do something that was a little bit more rough. And what I mean by that is I wanted to do something that looks kind of like under construction. So you're going to see me do or include a ton of these scaffolding-like elements. Right here, I'm trying to build this bridge because we have this floor that's kind of suspended in the air. I'm using this ropes prop in order to like give it the sensation that it's like some sort of real, like open, like, yeah, some sort of bridge. I don't know. It's I also started doing a more of a castle-like construction that I wanted to keep semi-unfinished and have scaffolding in the middle of it. You'll see in a minute how it starts shaping up. This thing that you see right here, this like wavy structure, it's actually now going to be... I'm going to get rid of that. And not because I didn't like it. It's the game literally crashed and I had to start over. So this is me starting over. And sometimes that's actually not a bad thing, because that literally allowed me to rethink what I was doing, and I changed the direction a little bit. So as you can see here, I set up this floor with bricks and then added some patches of wood so that it's like, just to give like the sensation that the floor is not perfectly it's kind of broken and has patches of wood just to be able to make it work. And then here, those little brick, I don't know, like edges, if you want to call it. I think they have a specific name, but I don't remember. Anyways, what I was trying to do there is give the sensation that there used to be walls there, or walls are about to be built there, but not quite yet. So just, give that that sensation, or that style of being under construction. And as you can see here, I'm adding more of the scaffolding, mixing it up as much as I can. I put down that tent-like building as well, covering all the quote-unquote imperfections with the bushes, adding a few little props here and there. I'm all over the place. I'm not necessarily doing one thing at a time and finishing it. I'm moving in, I'm not doing all the walls and then moving on to the scenery. I kind of do everything as I do it. I think that's, at least for me, that's a bit more efficient. I can manage to see the change as I progress. And we have, right here, we have a similar tower like the ones we have on the front of the park. And again, it's not really connected by anything. I tried doing some crazy tower-like feature, but eventually decided not to go that route. It looked a little bit weird. So you see me here, get rid of it after a little while. There you go. But one of the things that I wanted to really have this look like would be like the docks. So I added this wood poles all over the place. You're gonna see me add a lot more. And just to give that sensation of the pillars or the pylons that usually are underneath the piers, and that is a very maritime, if you will, aspect or theme that I wanted to recreate here. So you'll see me add a ton of these, and I think these add a lot of detail to you. I think they shape up this this ocean-like design style. I used two of the tall ones to put the victory sign, which I think turned out right. And here I was just trying to do a bit of a fence around the ride, but I decided not to do that eventually. And I went ahead in doing different sizes of poles. And since those look way too perfect, I decided to remove a few so that it looked a little bit more random. And then I added a ton of those poles pretty much all over the place, trying always not to block, the main path connecting where the entrance is into the ride. Obviously, I had to put the lanterns in between the different corners of the queue, which I absolutely love the way they look. I think they look fantastic. And here, since the path was just kind of hanging in the air, I decided to use some of these wooden poles just to make it or fake it so that the bridge wouldn't be floating in the air and defying gravity. Now, to add a bit of a different aesthetic a little bit, I decided to create this sort of staircase that hopefully, unfortunately, no one will ever use. It's just for decoration purposes. I really wish that the game would somehow integrate these things, like people at least walk on these assets. But maybe in the future, who knows? But I decided to add that, even though most people might not necessarily see this because it's so in the back of this building. But honestly, I'm not sure in the future some of the paths connecting that upper level that you see in the back with the train is a little bit higher than here. There's going to be rides all over, right? So it's possible that there will be paths kind of surrounding this structure. So I want it to look somewhat nice. Eventually, if we end up adding a path that kind of goes around on this side, we're probably gonna add a few more details just so that it doesn't look, too rough around the edges, too not unstage, if you will. But for the time being, I just wanted to add just tons of decorations, and of course, I wanted to add also a few of these seaweeds. I think they're called, just to give that sensation of abandoned building type thing. I think it turned out pretty good, to be honest. It's really hard positioning them, I gotta say. It's not an easy task, but I managed to get a good result, I think. Just so you know, at the end of this episode, I'm going to stop the super high speed video and actually show you in detail how everything looks, so stay tuned for that. And that brings me to something else that I haven't mentioned at the beginning of this episode, is the fact that I made some changes on the entrance of the park. Remember where we used to have that big tower that's like, it was kind of like in your face? Well, I mean, that's still the case, but I added some paths so that visitors can kind of like not be trapped by, or not be funneled 100% into that little corner. You'll see in a minute. It actually turned out quite nice. I actually kind of like it. And by doing that, I kind of opened the possibilities for adding a new ride right at the entrance. I wanted to also comment on something that was mentioned in the comments of the previous episode, which is the fact that I pretty much hidden the two front rides inside of buildings. I see your point. I do see your point. Yeah, the only thing that you see when you're coming, you basically see a building and you don't even see the sign for the Rocktopus or the Whirly-Rig. But I kind of like it. Yeah, maybe if I had to redo it, I wouldn't do it that way, but I still like how it turned out. So I'm not too worried about that. Not to the point of me wanting to redo everything. But yeah, moving on with this building, because I'm talking about things that you can't see, so that's probably dumb of me. But I'll make sure to show you that as we get closer to the end of the video. But remember when a few minutes ago I was telling you that I wanted to take advantage of this ride being raised, so that I could put down the rocks on the edges around, and just give it that sensation that the whole ride is sitting on a bed of rocks, if you will. So I pretty much love how this turned out. I tried to add some bushes here and plants just to like roughen it up a little bit so it doesn't look too perfect, and just add a hint of color with the flowers. I think in a few seconds I'm also gonna do the, what is it called, the cypress? No, it's not the cypress. Whatever the yellow one is, whatever the yellow tree is that we just sunk down in the ground just to make it look like basically yellow flowers. And right here, I wanted to accelerate the time into the night mode so that I could start putting down some of the lights. Unfortunately, or not unfortunately, but everything kind of has a pirate theme, especially this ride, simply because, well, it's a pirate ship, right? So I wasn't too worried about, not trying to like divert from that style as much as I could. Overall, I'm gonna tell you right now, it will look kind of piratey or piratey. I don't know how to even say that word, but it's just a fact. I mean, those are the materials that I have, and the props for the most part. Like, it's all skulls and cannons and things like that. So it really, I mean, I still wanted to use them, even though those are the only ones. And I'm sure you've seen probably a ton of YouTube videos of people doing that, but using those materials. But I don't know. I'm just trying to give it a twist every now and then, and hopefully you enjoy some of the things that I came up with. Trying to add little details inside of this statue too, to try to put down like spotlights to highlight them as much as I could. I think in just a few seconds I'm also gonna accelerate the camera a little bit more, just so that the night goes even, basically the day goes deeper into the night is what I'm trying to say, because there is some like hint of the sun in this construction, and I wanted like 100% darkness if I could. Over here I'm putting lights around the paths because I think that's necessary. And I also use this shipwreck piece at the end of the Victory, just so that I could hit a red spotlight, and I put a yellow spotlight on the other side. That way, combining both colors, we can create some sort of an orange kind of look that I think was a winner. And this galley that we had back here kind of was hidden in the back, so I decided to put some spotlights that would potentially, make it stand out a little bit more, because it's kind of like surrounded by trees. And that's by design. It wasn't an accident, but I was trying to like, hey, like put some light and say, hey, like here's a cool little feature that you might have missed. That was sort of the the goal here. But overall, I'm super happy with how this is turning out. I hope you are too. Let's see. Next, I was also trying to put down a spotlight from the front of the ship, and then I realized that the inside of this under construction or demolished castle, whatever your views of the world are, kind of was missing some light from within. So I tried to put some spotlights to give that red kind of glow. It was hard getting some light on the inside, and since we have all those windows, I figured that it would be a good idea to have some of that some of the highlights be at the base of such a structure. So I don't remember exactly what I settled for. I think I used the regular lamps for this. Yeah, just some white lights. This one's, I'm not 100% sure I like them. I might replace them because white kind of clashes with all the cool little colors that we're using. So they don't look bad by any means, but I think they might end up looking better if we tweak it a little bit and try to use either the lanterns or, I don't know, the spotlights for the most part, one of the colored spotlights. And again, I'm just waiting for morning to come. I wanted to accelerate the simulation, and that way you can also kind of see the progression. Oh yeah, but before I move into the daytime, I noticed that the front of the ship or the area surrounding the ship was kind of dark. So I stopped the simulation before it went out of night mode and tried to put down some lights. And I remember at some point that I was using the lanterns on the other side, so I ended up copying the same style, just putting lanterns around the edges of this ride. And I think they turned out fantastic, actually. The shades and all the different like dark spots and bright spots, I think make it really, really interesting and just generate a really cool contrast. And now we're finally moving into daytime. So as you can see, it's going really fast. And just wanted to take one final look of how the ride looked once everything was very, very bright. I also wanted to add some more details before calling it this complete. So that's pretty much what I'm doing here. I noticed that we're missing some vegetation on the front of the ride, but I also didn't want to cover it with trees or anything because I want people to be able to see the ride as they approach the area. So I pretty much kept the palm trees. Oh, and this is what I was talking about, this yellow tree. I just added a few hints. But yeah, I wanted to keep the line of sight from the path looking into the ride as clear as I could. And of course, try to make it a little bit interesting to some extent. So I think I did a pretty good job there. Just putting down a few more weights. But yeah, this build turned out really, really nice. And just let me give you a tour in detail of how this looks like from the inside. So let me move the camera a little bit and show you the nooks and crannies of this design. Let me see if I can, there we go. Just show you from the inside this tiny little curve. We keep going and adding tons of details. This is probably not very safe, the fact that we have fire and a ton of wood. But it's fine. It's fine. No one would notice. Don't tell anyone, you know? Let's just make things simple. Let me exit or zoom out a little bit. There we go. It's possible that we might need to put up a sign here just to identify this ride a little bit better, but hopefully if we can get in. So you can see here, this is how this under construction castle looks like from the point of view of the visitors. We have a lot of scaffolding here. Let's see if I can rotate the camera and get outside. Eventually, like I said, if we have a path coming this way, we might have to redecorate this or add a few more details. For the time being, I think it works. Actually, there we go. That's much better. Exit out of that weird mode. And if I get closer in here, you can see that the line kind of goes underneath that wooden structure, which I think looks great. And if we go over here, and this is our sort of bridge here. I mean, it could be like a, I don't know, like a bridge that opens up in the middle or something like that. That's kind of the style. I mean, this is all fake. I mean, that's the reality of a theme park. But I must say, I really like this. I do think that there's a lot of work that could be done to this. So by no means this is finished, like I always say. But this is definitely a good start. And that allows us to continue the development over here. This design will probably have to continue somewhat over here just to mix these two types of buildings and have some sort of a connecting design in the middle. We probably can throw in some services, have like a little restaurant or something. You know, sky is the limit. Let me show you all the things that I did off camera, just real quick. So you can see here, I added a few light fixtures that we probably are better suited for the night mode. But you'll get an idea. This light over here is like brighten up the cow logo, or the cosmic cow, if you will. And this is what I was telling you before. I added this paths from the main entrance so that visitors can choose to take a different route. And this kind of opened up this whole area a little bit better, because I think this tower was right in the middle of everything. And since I added that and all these trees, I realized that this would be a great spot for another flat ride. So we might do that at some point in hopefully the near future. But overall, I gotta say, I'm really happy with how this is turning out. We're starting to convey all these or merge all these rides into one big theme park. Right now it feels like isolated things, but as we progress and start adding decorations to all of the places, I think it's going to turn out really nice. So I'm excited about that. And that is all the time that I have for this episode. So if you enjoyed, please give that like button a click. And if you didn't like it, well, you can dislike it and let me know in the comments why. That's actually very appreciated. If you're new to the channel, I highly encourage you to subscribe. But that's all I have to say for now. I really want to thank you for watching and hope to see you in the next one.